And welcome, everybody, to this week's exciting episode.
Stick to me like caramel.
Okay. Okay. Is that an actual song?
Yeah, it's my favourite song at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Sleep Token, isn't it?
Oh, Sleep Token.
It's their new song.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm looking at you, Polar Bear.
Polar Bear. He loves a bit of Sleep Token as well, doesn't he?
He does. We actually have a very mutual love of rock and roll. You do as well, I suppose.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, me and Elle, we're like that when it comes to metal music and heavy rock and stuff. So yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, you like your more modern stuff. I guess I'm a bit more into my classics, aren't I?
Yeah.
It's an age thing, I think.
Yeah, I always think of like Queen, AC/DC, Nirvana, that kind of old school rock when I think of you.
Yeah, you're not far wrong, I suppose.
Yeah, I like all kinds of music. I'm not fussy. I've got a surprise for you.
Go for it.
That's it.
You did catch me with that one, to be fair. That did surprise me. I wasn't expecting that.
Right, I'm turning it off now. No more air horn.
Back to the specialist.
We did actually
sound samples.
We did actually get complaints about the air horn before when I used it. Not just from yourself. So I'll leave the air horn alone.
See, the audience agrees with me.
Yeah.
Air horns are annoying.
They are very annoying, to be fair. One time, someone let one off like pretty close to my ear, and it was ringing for a good like 2-3 days.
I'll bet, yeah.
They're just not nice. I don't even know where to get them apart from online. So
yeah, I wouldn't know. Amazon.
I mean, is there anything they don't sell?
No.
Yeah, they sell houses now.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I saw it. Yeah, like construct your own house or something. They're like expandable.
Yeah. Like, they got some for like 76 grand and stuff.
No, they had some for like 20 grand.
Oh yeah, but they're stepping up now.
Oh, have they?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. They got some expensive houses on there now.
Fair play.
Yeah. Well, before we get into today's subject, I just want to say, I mentioned this to you earlier. If you're on TikTok or Instagram Reels and you're seeing the man that is supposedly on Mars, it's fake. Please don't believe that a man is filming himself on Mars and is somehow finding the right signal and equipment to send it back to social media. It's just not
crazy.
Believable.
It's crazy, isn't it? The way people actually do believe that as well is it's indicative that AI is taking over, isn't it?
AI is taking over, and I think we're only going to get stupider.
Yeah,
we're all going to become stupid idiots.
Yeah,
so,
or we'll move to Mars to get away from it.
Yeah, and the AI is also going strong with fake animals that look like Pokemon. I mentioned that to you earlier as well. Yeah. Like the amount of times where people send me videos, or I've seen videos of like a blue fox, and it's this has been discovered in South Korea. I'm like, no, it says AI generated right in the bottom left corner. Like it's not real. So yeah, AI is it's crazy, man.
It is.
It's going to get us all. We're all going to be slaves to the system, the AI system.
Maybe we'll be slaves to our new computer overlords.
Yeah, well, with our job, AI can't take over.
Well, we kind of proved it could.
What, here?
Oh, our day job.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, no, AI wouldn't
no.
cope with our actual day job.
We might see an increase in like plumbers and electricians.
Even our tractor is supposed to be intelligent, but it's useless.
Yeah.
The old one.
One faulty wire, and nope, it does not move.
Error code.
Yeah. Well, would you like to know what we're going to cover today?
I would love to know what we're going to cover today.
We're going for true crime / conspiracy / mystery. We're doing the Sodder children disappearance.
And I am a little bit familiar with this. Because, like most of your subjects, 42 got there first.
Yeah, and I don't follow 42, so it does actually happen to be a coincidence to me. But he did it a few years ago, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a while ago. But yeah, no, he did a thorough job of it, I guess. But we'll see what your conclusions are on it.
I can tell you now, it won't be as thorough. Because 42, from the stuff that I have seen, that guy, that's his main job. That is what he does for a living.
Yeah.
He has a lot more time, resources, and effort
to
put in.
I don't think it's just a couple of hours on a Sunday night.
No, definitely not. Which currently, life is getting busy. So it's like, I'm just doing the best I can. But, if you've come here for 100% facts and deep presentations, you're at the wrong place. If you're here for entertainment and some facts.
If you want to free up some of Josh's time so he can do more research, Patreon.
Yeah. So it's not going to be as thorough, but here we go. The Sodder children disappearance. So I'm going to give you a brief statement as to what happened, and then I'll go into the details and the facts. So on Christmas Eve, for those that don't know, December 24th.
Yeah. Well, no, there probably are some people out there that don't know that.
In 1945,
hard-hitting facts, though.
Yeah. I answered the hard questions here. In 1945, a fire destroyed the Sodder residence in Fayetteville, West Virginia, in the United States. At the time, it was occupied by George Sodder, his wife Jenny, and 9 of their 10 children. During the fire, George, Jenny, and 4 of the 9 children escaped. The bodies of the other 5 children have never been found. The surviving Sodder family believed for the rest of their lives that the 5 missing children did survive. So straight away, that is the mystery we're talking about.
That's a fairly concise description of it.
So that's just a summary of what happened. I don't really need to go into too much about the past because it doesn't really. Oh no!
No, it's fine.
I thought the Mac had got gremlins again.
Just wanted to connect to iCloud. It's fine. You're going to stay disconnected.
I'll just give you a little bit of background because some of it is important. So George Sodder, the father, was born with the name Giorgio Soddu in Tula, Sardinia, Italy in 1895, and he was an immigrant to the United States 13 years later with an older brother who went back home as soon as both boys had cleared customs at Ellis Island. For the rest of his life, George, as he came to be known, would not talk much about why he had left his homeland.
Oh, so we don't know why it is then.
Sodder eventually found work on the railroads in Pennsylvania, carrying water and other supplies to work. Water and workers in the same sentence tripped me out there. He would carry water supplies to workers.
Words with similar letters.
Yes.
They trip you up all the time.
After a few years, he took more permanent work as a driver in Smithers, West Virginia. He then started his own trucking company, initially hauling to fill dirt to construction sites and later hauling coal mined in the region. Jenny Cipriani, got that word right, Jenny Cipriani, a storekeeper's daughter in Smithers, who had also immigrated from Italy in her childhood, married George in 1922. So it's important to mention about his own trucking company, Italian immigrants, because that does come into it. Yeah. The Sodders settled outside nearby Fayetteville, which had a large population of Italian immigrants, in a 2-story timber frame house 2 miles north of the town. In 1923, they had their first of their 10 children. Also, the fact that we've just glazed over the fact that they've had 10 children.
10 children, yeah.
That's quite a lot.
It is. It is a lot.
I don't know how... Well, I think in this day and age, it would be quite difficult to look after 10 children.
Some people do it. The more children you have, the more benefits you get.
Yeah. Yeah, we bloody pay for them 10 children.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them, I suppose. If you've got money and you've got 10 kids, good for you, you know. We're not judging. But
what I want to know, immediately off the bat, is you said that on the night in question, Christmas Eve, only 9 of the 10 children were at home. Where was the other one?
He was the older one. I believe I think it does go into it. I believe he was
Either out
in
of
the
court.
army. No, he was in the army.
In the army. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was the oldest one. Didn't live at home.
Right.
But no, they did have 10 children, which is mental.
Well, there wasn't a lot to do in the evenings back then, was there?
No, very true. Yeah, a little bit of coitus, cunnilingus in the moonlight.
Family friendly, Josh.
Yeah, that's all right. Some people just have to look that up. That's fine. It's all natural, baby. It's all good. George's business prospered, and they became one of the most respected middle-class families around. In the words of one local official, George had strong opinions about many subjects and was not shy about expressing them, sometimes even alienating people. In particular, his opposition to Italian dictator Benito Mussolini had led to some strong arguments with other members of the immigrant Italian community.
Yeah, I can imagine so. Mussolini was quite a divergent character, wasn't he? He was quite people were very divisive about whether they followed him or not, weren't they?
Yeah, I've heard the name Mussolini before. I've always heard of Mussolini being a very nasty person. So, but allegedly, I don't want to get whacked, man, because this is like mafia territory.
I guess it is. Yeah.
Well, mind you, it's 1942, so Mussolini's not around anymore.
No, he's not been around for a long time.
Well, did he have kids? Mussolini Juniors?
Probably.
Okay, in that case, allegedly. The last of the Sodder children, Sylvia, was born in 1942. By then, their second eldest son, Joe, who was 17, had left home to serve in the military during World War II. So
there you go. Yeah.
The following year, Mussolini was deposed and executed. Oh, there you go. He is definitely not around anymore.
He wasn't very popular either by the sound of it.
Executed. Well, how the turntables have turned, Mussolini.
Yes.
However, George's criticism of the late dictator had left some hard feelings. In October 1945, a visiting life insurance salesman, after being warned about George's house, that it would go up in smoke and your children are going to be destroyed. So that's
the travelling life insurance salesman said that.
Yeah. He was like, do you want some life insurance? And also your house is going to go up in smoke and your children are going to be destroyed. So sign the papers.
Oh,
pretty much.
His name wasn't Mystic Meg, was it?
No. Dirty life insurance salesman, according to this website.
Yeah, fair enough.
Attributing to all the dirty remarks you have been making about Mussolini, is what he also said to him.
Oh, okay. So, was it life insurance or was it a threat? Oh, we haven't got that as a sound bite, have we?
We have got. What have we got? That
yeah, that was dramatic. Really dramatic. That was.
We haven't got anything else.
No. Oh well.
Well, no, that's
all
not
right.
That's not great for Mussolini,
I'll
is
find
it?
a meme of a gopher looking shocked or something.
I'll avoid the cheering for anything involving Mussolini and death threats, to be honest. Another visitor to the house, seeking work, took the occasion to go around to the back and warned George that a pair of fuse boxes would cause a fire someday. That's strange, isn't it?
Someday. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Just a random guy looking for work. Them fuse boxes are going to cause a fire someday. Okay. George was puzzled by the observation.
He was a bright spark. The wrong one.
Which one were you looking for?
I don't know.
Oh, you were looking for
that one? Yay! It's funnier that I got it wrong.
Yeah, I like it. I should jumble them up one day. So obviously George was puzzled by this since he had just had the house rewired with an electric stove being installed, and the local electric company had said afterwards that it was completely safe. In the weeks before Christmas that year, George's elder sons had also noticed a strange car parked along the main highway through town, its occupants watching the younger Sodder children as they returned from school.
Ooh.
Very mysterious. So let's go into the actual event which happened on Christmas Eve, which is December 24th.
Yes, and always has been.
Yes, just in case we lost people along the way there. So, the Sodder family celebrated on Christmas Eve 1945. Marion, 19, the oldest daughter, had been working at a dime store. And I Googled this. Basically Poundland.
A pound shop, yeah.
Yeah. Or
I got that,
a
yeah.
Dollar Tree in America. Dollar store.
It's not where you pick up dime bags.
No. But it is crazy that back in those days, it was a dime store. Everything cost like a dime.
A dime.
It's nuts.
What is that, about 20p?
A dime is 10 cents.
10 cents.
Yeah, so
okay.
10p to a pound kind of thing. So, yeah, she worked at a dime store in downtown Fayetteville, and she surprised 3 of her younger sisters, Martha, 12, Jenny, 8, and Betty, 5, with new toys she had bought for them as gifts.
From the dime store?
From the dime store.
Wow.
Top quality they would be.
She spent 4 whole dimes.
Well, back in those days, we don't know the conversion
That would have been a lot
rate.
of money. It would have been a lot of money in, what was it, 1945?
Yeah. The younger children were so excited that they asked their mother if they could stay up past what would have been their usual bedtime.
No.
No, it's Christmas Eve.
You gotta go to bed or Santa won't come. Oh no, they're Italians, aren't they? You got to go to bed or the Santa won't come.
Oh no, Santa Claus. Nothing but spaghetti in your stockings.
No, they're Italian Americans now, and you do that quite well.
Ah, that would be like...
Carotini. Hey, Ma.
Hey,
I want to stay up a little later here.
Yeah, that's good enough.
That was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah, they would be more...
Just so we can offend even more people.
Nah, they're all right. They're all right. They take a joke.
Our accents.
Hey, Ma, can we stay up past our usual bedtime? Get out of here. I'm excited over here.
No, Santa Claus is coming. You don't want him to come to the wrong house, do ya?
We don't even have a goddamn chimney.
But we do have a fire.
That is something that... I mean, I don't have kids, but if you don't have a chimney, how do you explain Santa Claus?
It's not a Christmas episode, Josh.
Yeah,
I
true.
can't reveal that secret.
Oh no, Santa's real. Santa is real. At 10 p.m., Jenny told them they could stay up a little later, as long as the 2 oldest boys who were still awake, 14-year-old Morris, great name, and his 9-year-old brother, Louis, remembered to put the cows and feed the chickens. So they have to put the cows in and feed the chickens.
Right, yeah, they got a small holding.
Before going to bed themselves. You know what? I like this family even more.
Yeah.
Because they're farmers.
Very self-sufficient.
George and the 2 eldest boys, John, 22, and George Jr., 16, who had spent the day working with their father, were already asleep. After reminding the children of those remaining chores, she took Sylvia, 3, upstairs with her, and they went to bed together. The telephone rang at 12:30 a.m. Jenny woke and went downstairs to answer it. The caller was a woman whose voice she did not recognize, asking for a name she was not familiar with. With the sound of laughter and clinking glasses in the background, Jenny told the caller she had reached the wrong number, later recalling the woman's weird laugh.
Okay.
So that's the first mysterious thing that happened on Christmas Eve there. She hung up and returned to bed. As she did, she noticed that the lights were still on and the curtains were not drawn, 2 things the children normally attended to when they stayed up later than their parents. Marion had fallen asleep on the living room couch, so Jenny assumed the other children who had stayed up later had gone back up to the attic where they slept. Oh, in the attic?
In the attic, yes.
That's odd. But then I suppose it could have just been converted, because now these days we see attics as like where you store old
stuff.
Christmas things.
Yeah. Some of the big American houses, they got attics that you can just walk up a staircase into, don't they? So they quite often are converted into bedrooms, aren't they?
Yeah. To be fair, I imagine there's houses where the attic's probably the biggest room.
It probably is. Yeah.
She closed the curtains, turned out the lights, and returned to bed. At 1 a.m., Jenny was again awakened by the sound of an object hitting the house's roof, with a loud bang, then a rolling noise. After hearing nothing further, she went back to sleep. After another half hour, she woke up again smelling smoke. When she got up again, she found that the room George had used for his office was on fire around the telephone line and fuse box.
Someone could have seen that coming, couldn't they?
They could have done. It's almost like it was planned. Jenny woke him, and he in turn woke his elder sons. Or his older sons, sorry. Both parents and 4 of their children, Marion, Sylvia, John, and George Jr., escaped the house. They frantically yelled to the children upstairs, but heard no response. They could not go up there as the stairway itself was already aflame. John said in his first police interview after the fire that he went up to the attic to alert his siblings sleeping there, though he later changed his story to say that he only called up there and did not actually see them.
Right.
Efforts to find aid and rescue the children were unexpectedly complicated. The phone did not work, so Marion ran to a neighbour's house to call the Fayetteville Fire Department. A driver on the nearby road had also seen the flames and called from a nearby tavern. They too were unsuccessful, either because they could not reach the operator or because the phone there had turned out to be broken. Either the neighbour or the passing motorist was eventually successful in reaching the fire department from another phone in the centre of town. George, barefoot, attempted to climb the house's outside wall and broke open a window, cutting his arm in the process. He and his sons intended to use a ladder to the attic to rescue the other children, but it was not in the usual spot resting against the house and could not be found anywhere nearby.
I remember that particularly from the video, from 42's video. He said that there was normally a ladder leaning up pretty much to the window that they needed to get to, and for some reason, just wasn't there.
Completely disappeared. A water barrel that could have been used to extinguish the fire was frozen solid. Well, that's not mysterious.
Whereabouts is this in the United States? I'm guessing a northern state.
No, I can't remember. West Georgia, I think I said. I can't even remember. Future Josh and Pirate, try and remember details.
Because a lot of the United States, it doesn't really freeze, does it? That's what I was thinking. But even at Christmas, but...
Well, it's frozen. I suppose it is Christmas time, isn't it? George then tried to pull both of the trucks he used in his business up to the house and use them to climb to the attic window, but neither of them would start, despite having worked perfectly during the previous day. Another little mystery. Frustrated, the 6 Sodders who had escaped had no choice but to watch the house burn down and collapse over the next 45 minutes. They assumed the other 5 children had perished in the blaze. The fire department, low on manpower due to the war and relying on individual firefighters to call each other, did not respond until later that morning. Chief F.J. Morris said the next day that the already slow response was further hampered by his inability to drive the fire truck, requiring that he wait until someone who could drive was available. Maybe he had too many Christmas tipples.
Maybe. That's all I could think of, really.
But then I don't know if drink driving was
there wasn't.
I
don't think there was any laws for it back then. At least not. Well, not in the UK anyway. But.
I could just imagine Italian Americans just drink driving. I gotta get home for my spaghetti. I don't give a crap that it's Christmas. I'm drinking and just having fun.
Yeah. I don't give a crap that it's Christmas. I'm eating spaghetti no matter what. No turkey's going in here.
Keep that turkey away from my mouth. The firefighters, one of whom had a brother of Jenny's, could do little. Basically, the uncle was a firefighter. Okay. Fair enough. That suddenly clicked then. I was like, hang on. The firefighters, one of whom was a brother of Jenny's. Well, hang on, that's the uncle. Could do little but look through the ashes that were left in the Sodders' basement by 10 a.m. Morris told the Sodders that they had not found any bones, as might have been expected if the other children had been in the house as it burned. According to another account, they did find a few bone fragments and internal organs, but chose not to tell the family. It has also been noted by modern fire professionals that their search for was cursory at best. Nevertheless, Morris believed that the 5 children unaccounted for had died in the fire, suggesting it had been hot enough to burn their bodies completely.
Nah.
No.
Don't believe that. No.
I don't think so either. So let me just, if you'd like to entertain for a second, so I can get my.
Okay, well, one
right
thing that I would like to say about that is this is America, so the house was probably wooden.
Yeah, that's a given.
It's not really like burning like extra hot, like chemical burns or anything like that, or natural gas or anything like that that's accelerating it or making it even hotter. And I think we've said on the podcast before that cremated bodies still leave bones behind that then have to be ground up into powder to be put into an urn. So a house fire that leaves literally no bones and they're claiming that it's completely consumed the bodies. No, I'm not buying it.
Me neither, man. The Sodders never rebuilt the house, instead converting the site into a memorial garden to the lost children. In the 1950s, as they came to doubt that the children had perished, the family put up a billboard at the site along State Route 16 with pictures of the 5 children, offering a reward for any information that would bring closure to the case. It remained standing until shortly after Jenny Sodder's death in 1989.
Oh, wow.
So that was like 49 years. Is that right? 39 years, sorry.
Yeah.
39 years. In support of their belief that the children survived, the Sodders had pointed to a number of unusual circumstances before and during the fire. George disputed the Fayetteville Fire Department's findings that the blaze was electrical in origin, noting that he had recently had the house rewired and inspected and was given the green light. It was all okay.
Yeah.
George and his wife suspected arson, leading to theories that the children had been taken by the Sicilian mafia.
Ooh.
Perhaps in retaliation for George's outspoken criticism of the fascist government of his native Italy. The Mussolini comments.
Yeah.
State and federal efforts to investigate the case further in the early 1950s yielded no new information. The family did, however, later receive what may have been a picture of one of the boys as an adult during the 1960s.
Ah, yes.
Their last surviving daughter, Sylvia, along with their grandchildren, continued to publicise the case in the 21st century in the media and online. So that's the latest of it.
With the help of 42.
Yeah. Yeah, he got there first, that handsome bugger. Here we go. So we're going to go into the aftermath and some of the theories and stuff. So Morris told George to leave the site undisturbed so that the state fire marshal's office could conduct a more thorough investigation. However, after 4 days, George and his wife could not bear the sight anymore, so he bulldozed 5 feet of dirt over the site with the intention of converting it to a memorial garden for the lost children. The local coroner convened an inquest the next day, which held that the fire was an accident caused by faulty wiring.
Right.
Among the jurors was the man who had threatened George that his house would be burned down and his children destroyed.
Just who you want in the jury.
Yeah. In retribution for his anti-Mussolini marks. Death certificates for the 5 children were issued on December 30th. The local newspaper contradicted itself, stating that all the bodies had been found, but then later in the same story reporting that only part of one body was recovered. George and Jenny were too grief-stricken to attend the funeral on January 2nd, 1946, but their surviving children did.
Right.
So,
okay.
Not long afterwards, as they began to rebuild their lives, the Sodder family started to question all the official findings about the fire. They wondered why, if it had been caused by an electrical problem, the family's Christmas lights had remained on throughout the fire's early stages.
Good point.
When the power should have gone out completely.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Then they found the ladder that had been missing from the side of the house on the night of the fire at the bottom of an embankment 75 feet away.
Yes, yeah.
So nowhere near the house.
No.
A telephone repairman told the Sodders that the house's phone line had been burned through in the fire as they had initially thought, but cut by someone who had been willing and able to climb 14 feet up the pole and reach 2 feet away from it to do so.
Possibly using a ladder.
So it had been cut. A man whom neighbours had seen stealing a block and tackle from the property around the time of the fire was identified and arrested. He admitted to the theft and claimed he had been the one who cut the phone line, thinking it was a power line, but denied having anything to do with the fire.
Hang on. He stole block and tackle?
Yeah.
Fishing equipment?
Yeah.
And cut a phone line?
Yeah, thinking it was the power line. Yeah. Another just little mystery that's like... They just seem to attract random people that
they do
threaten them.
Yeah,
judge their fuse boxes just for sitting there, and now they've got someone that's stealing their stuff and cutting their phone lines. So they seem to be having a bit of bad luck. However, no record identifying the suspect now exists, and why he would have wanted to cut any utility lines to the Sodder house while stealing the block and tackle has never been explained. Jenny said in 1968 that if he had cut the power line, she and her husband, along with their other 4 children, would have never been able to make it out of the house. Jenny also had trouble accepting Morris's belief that all traces of the children's bodies had been burned completely in the fire. Many of the household appliances had been found, still recognisable in the ash, along with fragments of the tin roof. She contrasted the results of the fire with a newspaper account of a similar house fire that she read around the same time that killed a family of 7. Skeletal remains of all the victims were reportedly to be found in that case.
Yeah, and you'd expect that to happen, yeah.
Jenny burned small piles of animal bones to see if they would be completely consumed. I mean, it's 1945.
It's a bit... You've got to be a little bit weird to do that, though, aren't you? I'll prove it. I'm going to burn these animal bones.
Yes, but if she's grief-stricken and she's lost her children, I would also turn to Satanism. Do you know what I mean? Who knows what you're going to do? So
took them to the garden shed and then set fire to it, and that proves that my house could have burned down and the bones would have been found.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she got anywhere with it.
No.
So
I totally agree. I wouldn't have gone to those lengths to prove it, but I agree.
An employee of a local crematorium she contacted told her that human bones remain even after bodies are burned at 2,000 Fahrenheit, which is 1,090 Celsius.
Yeah.
For 2 hours. Far longer and hotter than the house fire could have been. So there would have been bones left behind. The Sodder's truck's failures to start was also considered. George believed they had been tampered with, perhaps by the same man who stole the block and tackle and cut the phone line. However, one of George's son-in-laws told the Gazette Mail in 2013 that he had come to believe that Sodder and his sons, in their haste, might have flooded the engines. I don't know.
It's a possibility. But I don't know.
It's possible.
It is.
Anything's possible.
An old 1945 car as well. You'd probably need one of those crank things out the front of it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just be get in, turn a key, and off it goes, would it? There'd be something.
Yeah. Crank it up, Johnny.
Crank it.
Some accounts have suggested the wrong number phone call to the Sodder house on Christmas Eve might have also been somehow connected to the fire. However, investigators later located the woman who had made the call, and she said it was just the wrong number. How convenient!
In 1945, didn't you dial the operator and ask them to put you through?
I don't know. I'm gonna get it. Hang on. Let me astral project back to 1945. Yeah. I have no idea. I've only just recently learnt about the dial phones. You know, when you had to
really?
Yeah, it's like the spinning. Sorry, it's about
that's why it's called dial a number.
Yeah,
it had a rotary dialer. Yeah, where you picked your number and
How does that work?
Actually, I watched a video on, I can't remember what it was, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, or what it was, but it was like a bunch of teenagers these days, millennials or Gen Z or whatever, trying to figure out how to use a house telephone like that.
Yeah, yeah.
No one was giving them any directions. Like, they didn't know that you had to lift the handset first, then dial an actual number. You know, so they were trying to operate it. They hadn't even lifted the handset.
Yes.
It was quite funny from an older person's point of view, anyway.
Yeah, it is funny. It's just, it's not been that long of amount of time, really. 20 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nuts. So, we're getting towards the end now. So, evidence soon emerged indicating that the fire had not started in an electrical fault and was instead set deliberately. The driver of a bus that passed through Fayetteville late Christmas Eve said he had seen some people throwing balls of fire at the house.
Oh, that would have been what was landing on the roof then.
Yeah.
Grenade!
Great balls of fire. That would have been 1945 America, wouldn't it? Great balls of fire? Or 50s, 60s?
Well, it could have been something like that, yeah.
I don't know. I'll ask my dad. He's an old codger.
Molotov cocktails are around back then, though, weren't they?
Molotov cocktails filled with meatballs. A few months.
We're not getting the Russians involved. What is this Molotov?
Meatball cocktails. A few months later, when the snow had melted, Sylvia found
Rigatoni cocktails.
Yeah, if you want. Sylvia found a small, hard, dark green rubber ball-like object in the bush nearby. George, recalling his wife's account of a loud thump on the roof before the fire started, said it looked like a pineapple bomb, hand grenade, or some other device used in combat.
Ah, there we go. I was right about the grenade or the Molotov cocktail.
Yes. The family later claimed that, contrary to the fire marshal's conclusion, the fire had started on the roof, although by then there was no way to prove it. Other witnesses claimed to have seen the missing Sodder children themselves. One woman who had been watching the fire from the road said she had seen some of them peering out of a passing car while the house was burning. Another woman at a rest stop between Fayetteville and Charleston said she had served them breakfast the next morning and noted the presence of a car with a Florida license plate. The Sodders hired a private investigator named C.C. Tinsley from the nearby town to look into the case, and Tinsley informed the family that the insurance salesman who had threatened George over his anti-Mussolini sentiments had been on the coroner's jury that ruled the fire an accident. So he's also involved. So it's looking like Sicilian mafia at this point.
Yeah, it really does, yeah.
He also learned of rumours around Fayetteville that despite his report to the Sodders that no remains had been found in the ashes, Morris had found a heart which he had later packed into a metal box and secretly buried. Right?
Right.
Morris had apparently confessed to the local minister that when Morris was confronted with the news, Morris agreed to show the two where he had buried the metal box, and they dug it up. They found inside the box, the funeral director, after examining it, said it was a beef liver.
Right.
So I don't know why Morris took it upon himself to go through all the effort of saying he found a heart, he buried it, it was a secret, then he confessed, and it was a beef liver. I don't really understand all of that.
No, I don't.
That is some weird... someone's getting paid.
I'm confused about how you would just find a heart
yeah.
without finding the rib cage.
Yeah.
You know?
And also...
all the ribs were burned to dust, but the heart was still there.
But also the beef liver had never been exposed to fire.
Oh, well, so it was raw. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Here we go. So, 1949, the excavation. On one occasion, George saw a magazine photo of a group of young ballet dancers in New York City, one of whom looked the spitting image of his missing daughter, Betty. Ooh. He drove all the way to the girls' school, where he repeated demands to see the girl for himself, and he was refused. And eventually the FBI got involved. So they were like,
there's a creepy guy trying to get into a girls' school.
Yeah. George then also tried to get the FBI on his side, and wanted them to investigate the kidnapping, saying that the children had not died in the fire, but it was a kidnapping. And the FBI said that it wasn't really big enough of a case.
Right,
it wasn't
okay,
their jurisdiction. They'd like to help, but it appears they're going to leave it up to local authorities, basically.
Yeah.
So the FBI didn't want anything to do with it. In August 1949, George was able to persuade Oscar Hunter, a Washington, D.C. pathologist, to supervise a new search through the dirt of the house after trying to find artifacts, including a dictionary that had belonged to the children and some coins. So a dictionary survived the fire.
Again.
But not bones.
No bones.
But several small bone fragments were unearthed eventually, determined to have been human vertebrae. The bone fragments were sent to a specialist at the Smithsonian Institution. They were confirmed to be lumbar vertebrae, all from one person. Since the age of the individual at the death would have been 17 years old. That's what they dated it to.
Right.
So the top limit of age that it could have been would have been 22. Thus, given the age range, it was not very likely that these bones were from any of the 5 missing children, since the oldest one...
they were all the youngest ones, weren't they?
The oldest one was 14 out of the missing children. So, how they found bones to someone that isn't any of the missing children, it seems like it's just constantly set up. It's being framed or...
Ancient Navajo burial ground?
Could be. Yeah.
Bad luck building a house there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and also the bones had no sign of exposure to flames either. The bones that they did find.
Yeah.
So that is pretty much the story of the missing Sodder children. They went on to offer rewards for people if they found them. But the family strongly believe, until the day that they died, that the children went missing and they didn't perish in the fire, even though the records suggest and the coroner suggests that they did die in the fire.
I think
they didn't find any bones.
Is it too dark to say the kids could have started the fire, climbed down the ladder, moved it out of the way, and then jumped in a car with a stranger to get away from being told
No, that's
off by
not
their
dark,
parents?
because one of the theories is that they could have been lured in by the Sicilian Mafia. If we go down that conspiracy route, the Sicilian Mafia, one theory is that they said to the children, because on Christmas Eve, the eldest ones and the parents went up to bed, but the younger ones were up.
Yeah.
So it's believed that one theory is they could have approached the house, let themselves in, seen the small children, and said, if you don't come with us, you're going to die, terrible things are going to happen.
Right.
So they persuaded the children to leave of their own accord, and it was all to do with the mafia. The evidence to me strongly suggests that Mussolini was involved. Like, like the mafia, the people surrounding him.
Yeah.
The evidence is strongly there, whereas I personally don't think they passed in the fire when...
I don't think the kids did
kitchen
either.
Equipment survived, a dictionary survived, but they didn't find any
paper survived at the fire.
But they didn't find any bodies, any bones, or anything. But then the other part of that is, why did the children never come back? Is that would the mafia have sent them away? Would they have sent them back to Italy? Do you know what I mean? Like, they would have seen as they grew up, or were they too young for that? Would they have just been kind of adopted?
Did you say one of them was 14?
14. But the youngest one, I think, was 3 or 5. Can't remember. So I should probably pay attention as I'm reading out.
Rewind it to find the age of the kid.
Yeah. But that's another thing that went through my mind was, how come not a single one of the missing children, if they did survive, came out years later
come out and
was
and
like,
say,
actually, I have
claim that reward for myself.
I have a vague memory of going into a car and things never added up. I don't know. We've just never really heard. And also, maybe they would have seen a picture of themselves on a billboard that was up there for 39 years.
Yeah.
there's just a lot of mystery to it. It's very weird. It makes me feel a bit eerie because I don't really like the idea of missing children, and then also it seems like not necessarily the government, but like the FBI refused to get involved when you've got 5 missing children. Maybe they were wise and thought the same. Maybe they thought it was the mafia and didn't want to get involved.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So I mean, we've all seen old gangster films.
Oh yes.
Like sometimes people get caught in the crossfire just for being a family member,
or just for being there at the time.
yeah. A Papa Captain, yes. So yeah, that's what I got on the Sodder family disappearance.
Fair play. So how do we put this one to the scale? Ooh.
It's a good point. I always forget how do we put things to the scale these days. But I like that about our scale. You never know
what it's going to be.
It could be how much you like it. It could be how much you believe it. Who knows?
Okay.
Are you swaying more towards mafia than?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Fire? If we were to scale it, as 1 is the kids died in the fire, and 9 is they're still alive and the mafia took them, I would vote 9.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Well, with them being an Italian family, if 1 is a scale of spaghetti, I'm not a fan of spaghetti, and 9 is like carbonara with extra Parmesan cheese, or a lasagna, because I'm a big fan of lasagna.
Yeah. You're just
I'm going
dissing the type of pasta. Pasta is pasta, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't like spaghetti. It reminds me of worms.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, you like your spaghetti to have legs?
No, it's just a texture thing, isn't it?
Okay.
But I like the flat tagliatelle. That's nice. That's all right. I'm going a solid 8.4 meatballs.
Oh, a penne.
I do like a penne. There's a question for you. What's your favourite type of pasta? I'll go first. Bow ties.
Right. It doesn't matter because pasta is pasta.
Excuse me. It's
all the
personal
same.
preference.
Okay.
What's your favourite?
My favourite pasta is lasagna sheets because it comes in lasagna, and I love lasagna.
Lasagna is good.
Yeah.
Some would say we've had a lasagna of a conversation
There's
today.
many layers to it.
Yes. This case has been a lasagna.
It has.
So many layers, so many mysteries. So with your 9 and my 8.4, that's an average of...
Yeah.
I'm not great at maths. I don't know. What, 8.75?
7?
Yeah.
I think.
8.7,
Yeah.
I do. Well,
yeah,
there you
it's
go.
close enough.
And if anyone else has any other theories or I've missed something out, which I probably have. Let's be honest, I have. Tell me what I've missed out.
To be honest, I think you've pretty much covered it all from what I can remember. I think,
Eat it, thought you too.
You hit a home run there. Nice one.
Yeah. Will we get monetized for saying his name because he's big and powerful?
No, we won't get monetized for it.
Okay.
You mean demonetized?
Yeah.
We're not monetized on YouTube.
Oh, well,
so
there you
it
go.
doesn't
Eat it, thought you too.
matter. Shout out to Thorty.
Yeah, no, he is pretty
I saw your video, mate.
Yeah,
He didn't.
No, I didn't.
And until next week, I've been Pirate.
I'm Josh.
This has been Paranormality UK. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta! They're meatballs. I actually love Italian Americans. I don't want to offend them. I'm just having fun. I'm just having some fun.